Putin has been targeting Ukrainian cities and its civilians since the beginning of the Russo-Ukrainian war, and recently it's gotten worse. President Volodymyr Zelensky has been upgrading Ukraine's air defense system as quickly and efficiently as possible. But here's the problem. Air defense is super expensive and supply of ammunition is limited. Thankfully, Ukraine's Western allies are on it. Germany recently announced it would be resupplying Ukraine with 45 Gepard or Cheetah anti-aircraft tanks by the end of the year to aid in its defensive struggle against Putin. These tanks are designed to destroy low-flying targets and are much cheaper to operate than other air defense systems like the US-made Patriot. Will they be able to protect Ukraine's critical infrastructure and civilian targets from Putin's missiles and drones? Ever wondered why Putin is targeting civilians in the first place? Here's the thing. In parallel with Ukraine's growing battlefield dominance, Russia has had a more difficult time attacking Ukrainian military units. One of the few ways that Putin has chosen to fight back has been to launch massive and continual waves of missile and drone attacks at Ukrainian cities. It cannot be understated how villainous these attacks have been. According to the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, OHCHR, estimates, over 9,000 Ukrainian civilians have been killed as of June 2023. And more than 15,000 wounded from these and other Russian attacks. Those numbers, though tragic, are dwarfed by Ukraine's own estimates. They say that the civilian death toll in the invasion so far is closer to 100,000 killed, more than 10 times the official number released by the United Nations. For their part, the UN has admitted that the real numbers of civilian casualties will undoubtedly be higher than what they can confirm. Many of these deaths have come from the thousands of missiles and drones that Russia has used to target Ukrainian civilian targets, both infrastructure such as elements of their electrical grid, as well as apartment buildings, hospitals, shopping areas and schools. As of early July 2023, Brigadier General Oleksiy Romov, Deputy Chief of the General Staff of Ukraine, reported that close to 5,000 missiles have been fired at Ukraine, with almost 3,500 of those strikes carried out on populated areas. To be able to defend themselves from such attacks, Ukraine has received some of the best Western-made surface-to-air missile systems, including at least 2 batteries of the very capable US-built Patriot missile systems, which have helped protect Ukraine's capital Kyiv from advanced Russian ballistic missiles. A third battery has been promised by the Netherlands, but its arrival is not expected until later in 2023. The challenge of using the Patriot system is in reserving its expensive missiles to shoot down the more advanced and harder-to-target Russian missiles. Ukraine can't use their Patriot batteries to shoot down every missile and drone that Russia launches, and Russia has been relying more and more on the much cheaper, Iranian-made Shahed 136 drone, which costs a fraction of the $4 million per missile that a Patriot battery fires. Estimates are that the Shahed 136 drones currently being deployed by Russia cost as little as $20,000 to make. Even using other surface-to-air missiles like Ukraine's Soviet-era S-300 SAM systems and fighter-launched interceptor missiles can cost Ukraine between $140,000 and $500,000 per launch. In just one night, July 7, 2023, Russia launched 18 Shahed drones from the city of Primorsk-Akhtarsk in the region of Krasnodar Krai. Ukrainian defenses managed to destroy 12 of the drones, but 6 still got through. Because of the vast numbers and lower costs of some of Russia's attacking drones, Ukraine has had to make use of less expensive systems to shoot down these attackers. One of the best responses to these attacks has been the use of an overlooked piece of military hardware, one that's been discontinued by its original manufacturer as being too out of date for the fast-paced environment of modern warfare, but which has still made a huge impact on the Ukrainian battlefield, and has been responsible for saving hundreds, if not thousands of lives, the 1960s-era Gepard self-propelled anti-aircraft system from Germany. Let's take a look at why this Cold War-era piece of military hardware was and still is a total badass. Here's how it started. Anticipating a possible war between NATO and the Soviet Union, Germany began development of the Gepard, the German word for cheetah, in the late 1960s based on the hull of the Leopard 1 main battle tank. The initial design requirements were for a mobile anti-aircraft system to counter low-flying Soviet fighter bombers. Drones hadn't even been anticipated back then, but fleets of Soviet ground attack aircraft were definitely considered a threat. Between the beginning of production in 1973 and the late 1980s, when the Gepard was discontinued in favor of more advanced designs, Germany built 420 hulls and about 430 turrets. The The Gepard is equipped with a pair of quick-firing Oerlikon 35mm cannons, which can each fire 550 rounds per minute. Putting a stream of lead like this into the sky has been an effective way of countering the Shahed drones, and their lower overall cost per system, compared to other more expensive SAM systems like the Patriot or S-300, means Ukraine can deploy more and more of them over a wider area of the country, providing air defenses to smaller cities like the recently struck Lviv. One of the reasons the Gepard can defeat these drones is because of their integrated radar systems, which have a reported range of more than 10 miles. Designed to track Soviet-era fighters and bombers, they work even better against the more sluggish Iranian drones. The Gepard can fire a variety of ammunition, including armor-piercing discarding Sabot tracer rounds, high-explosive incendiary tracer rounds, and advanced hit efficiency and destruction rounds. Depending on the ammunition they're firing, Gepard cannons can hit targets more than 3.5 miles away. Ukraine began using the first Gepards around August of 2022. They were first reported officially on the Ukrainian Weapons Tracker Twitter account on August 25th, though they may have been in the country earlier and just not officially acknowledged before then. As of June 2023, Germany has sent at least 34 Gepards to Ukraine and has agreed to send another 15 more in the coming weeks. Germany has promised a further 30 Gepards will be delivered before the end of the year. In addition, other countries that have bought Gepards in the past from Germany are in talks to send more of the systems, including Jordan, which operates around 40 Gepards. As soon as the Gepards were in country, they were rushed to the front lines almost immediately and proved effective at downing low-flying Russian cruise missiles and drones. They have been particularly effective against the Shahed 131 and 136 drones that Russia has been using against Ukraine's civilian population and their energy infrastructure. Because of the relative simplicity of the system, Ukrainian crews have been able to successfully operate the Gepard after only 2 months of training, compared to the German standard of 18 months. One crew around Odessa reportedly downed 10 Shahed drones and 2 cruise missiles in a single day. Inexpensive and simple-to-operate anti-aircraft systems like the Gepards bridge an important gap in Ukraine's air defenses, which includes long-range systems like the Soviet-era S-300 and Buk surface-to-air missile systems, as well as Western-made systems like NASAMS, a jointly produced mid-range air defense system made by the US firm Raytheon and Norway's Kongsberg Defense and Aerospace, along with the previously mentioned US-built Patriot batteries. Missiles fired by those systems are more advanced, but those advances come at a much higher price, and their construction takes much longer to build. These two constraints mean that the missiles used by these systems are relatively few in number. Those advanced missiles are also Ukraine's main defense against Russia's fast, high-flying fighters and bombers, and their high-tech Caliber cruise missile. Ukrainian forces can't afford to use them against every drone and cruise missile. Because Gepards are designed to destroy low-flying targets and the ammunition is much cheaper, they can engage the drones and missiles for which the more expensive systems aren't a good match. There's only one problem with Ukraine's use of the Gepards. The ammunition is made by the gun's manufacturer, the Swiss company Oerlikon, but Switzerland, attempting to maintain its neutrality, has so far been reluctant to allow ammunition to be sold to Ukraine. As of May 2023, the Swiss were still blocking a proposed sale of Gepard ammunition by Germany to Ukraine. As the producer of that ammunition, Switzerland has the right to oversee any sales of that ammunition by countries that have bought it from them. But Norway, newly accepted into NATO, has indicated that it might be willing to send some of their ammunition to Ukraine, while Germany has indicated they might be able to create a new production line to create the ammunition inside their country, with Switzerland's permission, thus bypassing Switzerland's concerns about their neutrality. More recently, some cracks have begun to appear in Switzerland's icy freeze on supplying lethal aid to Ukraine. In early May 2023, the two houses of the Swiss parliament voted to amend the Military Materials Act to allow the transfer of military equipment to Ukraine in the future. This may allow not just the sale of Gepard ammunition, but the possible transfer of some of Switzerland's German-made Leopard 2 tanks as well. In the meantime, Ukraine's allies have been able to source ammunition from other countries. Germany has reportedly acquired ammunition from a Norwegian supplier, since Germany had itself only around 60,000 shells in the opening months of the invasion. The US has also found a new source of both the Gepards and its ammunition from the country of Jordan. The US paid an intermediary, Global Military Products Incorporated of Tampa, Florida, to purchase some of Jordan's Gepards, which may have originally come from the Netherlands. These behind-the-scenes wheeling and dealing should keep Ukraine well supplied with both the systems and the ammo needed to operate them, at least until either Switzerland relents and allows the sale of the ammo to proceed, or when a new manufacturing plant for the ammunition is established outside of Switzerland's borders. Ukrainian data shows that in May 2023, Russia attacked Ukraine with a record monthly total of more than 300 drones, nearly all of them Iranian Shahed-type drones. But by the end of July, that number may be eclipsed, as Russia is ramping up its use of the low-cost attack weapon. On June 2nd, Ukraine managed to shoot down 36 Russian missiles and drones in and around the capital of Kyiv overnight, with 2 people injured by falling debris from the intercepted weapons. To counter this growing threat, Ukraine is working on more technologically advanced methods to stop them, from jamming their targeting systems to intercepting them with defending drones. To provide an idea of how quickly Ukraine is reacting to the drone threat, there were 7 companies able to sell drones to the country's military soon after Russia's invasion began. By July of 2023, that number had risen to 40. And by the end of 2023, the number of Ukrainian companies able to produce military drones, both offensive and defensive, will reach 50. But as promising as these new efforts are, a reliable version of their products may be months or years away. For right now, one of the best options Ukraine has available to it is the Gepard. It's already a low-cost platform. It's been a proven drone defeater, and it's available in good numbers right now. The more Gepards Ukraine can purchase or have donated to them from other countries, the better off their cities and their people will be. So what do you think? Will the Gepards be able to protect from Putin's drones until Ukraine builds up its counteroffensive? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more military analysis from military experts.